Yes, I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman, Alfred.
I'm Batman.
I am Batman!
I'm Batman.
I'm Batman.
Greetings, Bat Family. Welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by Real Fans for Real Movies. Make sure you visit our website, holybatcast.com. It's where you're going to find episodes of this show, as well as videos and merchandise and other random stuff. You can also find us all over the internet on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast and you will find us. And if you're a fan of the show, want to help support the show, become a bigger part of the family, you can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. And a huge thank you to all our patrons who keep this show running. We cannot thank you enough. So if you'd like to contribute to the show, patreon.com/holybatcast. We are a part of the Real Fans Podcast Network. So if you can't get enough of this show and you want to hear some of our other shows, you can go to rf4rm.com. It's where we put them all. So we've got the original Real Fans for Real Movies, where we talk about movies past and present. We've got Disorder, every Disney film, where we look at every Disney animated feature in order. We've got Taking the Bullet, where Roman and Leroy watch bad movies so you don't have to. And then the newest member of the family, there is a retro show called Please Rewind, the RF4RM Retro Show, where Jamie, Guy, and our pal Tim Rooney talk about movies essentially celebrating some anniversary this year. So you can find all those at rf4rm.com, or you can just search for them by name wherever you get your podcasts. As always, I'm your host, Andy DiGenova. Hi, and if you'd like to follow me when I'm not talking about Batman, you can do that on Twitter or on Instagram just by searching my name, Andy DiGenova. Woo! So let's get this started. On this episode, we are going to be talking about the brand new DC Comics show, Black Lightning. And to join me in that conversation, first of all, it's my partner in crime, the Damian Wayne to my John Kent, Mr. Jamie Drewley.
I take that as a very sincere form of flattery because I actually do like Damien.
Yeah, and you're also kind of a dick. So it also it all works out well.
It's funny because it's true.
We know our kind. It's cool. I recognize. I accept. No problem.
How you doing, Jamie?
I'm doing really good.
Good.
Really good.
Good.
This show, man. I can't wait to talk about this show.
Don't give it away, man. Hold it back. Make people wait for it.
I am very excited to be here to discuss this fine presentation henceforth.
Good. Excellent. Also joining us, and I mentioned their show earlier. You also know them from the Real Fans for Real Movies podcast, but they've got Taking the Bullet. Not one, but two special guests. First of all, from up in Seattle, Mr. Leroy Mack. Hey, Leroy.
Hey, man, and I just have to say the level of professionalism that is being presented here is both humbling and intimidating. I just feel like I should just turn around and walk right back out the door. It's good to talk to you, though.
Professionalism.
I know.
Give him a minute. He hasn't been on in a while. He doesn't remember how we get sidetracked and such. So
this is true. Leroy, I'm embarrassed to ask, but have you been on Holy BatCast before? I can never remember.
Oh my God! Oh man, one of my favorite experiences on any podcast, and that's not hyperbole. It is the God's honest truth. Was when we did Return of the Joker.
Oh yeah. There we go. That's been a while, but okay. Well then, welcome back. Silly me. Yeah, good to have you. Yes. And then the Robin to Leroy's Batman is Mr. Roman Simmons over in Chicago. Hey, Roman.
What's
going
on?
He's the Jason Todd? You're the Red Hood?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely the Red Hood.
Okay, all right.
Oh, yeah, no, totally. I mean, and to Leroy's point, I actually am in my apartment alone, but I dressed up in a suit because I knew I was going to be on a professional podcast.
Oh, thank God.
Right.
I mean, I can tell because we're all in the recording studio together, this very professional sound booth that we're recording this podcast from.
Does this mean I have to go put on pants now? Because that's going to screw up my whole night.
I'm just saying, you can't talk the part if you don't look the part. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on. I'm going to go put my gaiters on. Hold on. I'm doing this. I want to be a part of this. Okay, I'm a part of it. I'm a part of it now.
I appreciate
Cater to
everybody
cargo pants.
adhering to our very strict dress code. It's very, very important to the show. Except for Jamie, please put on some pants. Otherwise, I'm calling HR.
Yeah, you don't have any idea how it freaked me out when Leroy hit that video chat thing, because I literally am not wearing pants right now.
Oh dear.
That would have been awkward.
Well, thank God that we cannot control other people's cameras
Oh yes, thank you.
that we know of. There's some shady people out there who I'm sure can do it, but for just, for small crime criminals like us, we don't know how to do that yet.
Nope.
Anyway, we're going to change things up. We're going to talk about a new member of the DC universe, at least a new member as far as live action goes. The CW, of course, already they've got their schedule packed with DC content. It all started with Arrow, then The Flash, then Legends of Tomorrow, then Supergirl. No, then Supergirl, then Legends. I can't remember. It's too many to keep track of. But it wasn't enough. They added a new member to the family who, for the moment, they're saying will not cross over. And if you believe that, I've got a beautiful piece of land in Florida I'd like to sell you. But anyway, Black Lightning. We got the premiere of Black Lightning on the CW last week, and we all watched it, and we were like, hey, we need to talk about it and review it on the show. So I'm so glad you guys took time this evening to talk about Black Lightning. So without further ado, it's time to discuss, debate, talk about the pluses and minuses of this brand new series on the CW, and that is Black Lightning.
We pray at night for the helpless, hoping you get us through breakfast, wishing somebody come save us. Black Lightning's back, come to shock the haters.
And I feel like at that point I should sing that song they kept playing where it was like, Black Lightning's back.
That's gonna take a minute to grow on me, I have to admit.
Yeah, it's a little on the nose.
Yeah, I was like, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna just spit a rhyme in between each one, could it be, just a little bit more creative than what you're doing right now?
Well,
Okay,
it
so we finally
just
found the
takes
one
one
flaw.
line from the song and throws it in there.
Yeah.
The whole song in context is actually better than that. It's still not great, but it's better than that. They just use that because it's got the character's name in it, so they can drop it there when they show the title card.
Yeah, but I think I heard that 3 times in the pilot.
Oh
Yeah, when it went to commercial.
Yeah. And I was like, I know he's back. I got it. I picked up on that. I've been paying attention. All right, let's start like we would as if it were a movie. We'll start spoiler-free, just our overall reactions. Then we'll give a spoiler warning in case any of you fine folks out there have not watched Black Lightning yet. Shame on you. You call yourself a DC fan? Come on, it's free on the CW app. The only problem is you have to watch the same commercial for DirecTV every time. But a small price to pay for free superhero shows. So we'll start spoiler free, and I will give you a warning when it is no longer safe if you don't want to get spoiled. So without further ado, Roman, why don't you kick us off? What's your spoiler free reaction to the pilot of Black Lightning?
Okay. In keeping with the bar that I have set earlier with my suit on a podcast and the professionalism of said podcast,
Oh boy.
I actually have notes. I have never written
my
down
God.
notes for a podcast ever.
The pressure was on, so good on you for understanding how important this is.
Well, listen, like I said, I want to start eating at the big kids' table.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, tens of people listen to this show.
Right. right
Tens of
right.
them.
And if you can reach just one of them, then you've made a difference.
Yeah. And I think we even got like a download from Iceland. Download. Yeah, there's
see?
one one Iceland fan out there. Hey buddy, how you
That
doing?
could be the person. That could be the person that
This
I'm
one's for
next
you.
to hear.
That could be Bjork.
Oh my God.
That could be the person that what I'm about to say here, it touches them in a way.
And
that
she
they
could sing Black Lightning's back.
Oh God. we just got a new addition to like just the top 10 moment. RM history right there.
Oh,
Okay, all right. So like, all right. This show, like, it really isn't. I mean, it's obviously not the first show to feature black superheroes. It's not the first show to feature predominantly black casts. But what I feel it is, and I feel like it's operating on a totally different level than a lot of other TV shows that are based on comic books. Just from the simple standpoint of the way that they portray the character interactions, the city, the main title character. There's so many little nuanced things that when I watched this show, it was like, I know someone that's like that, or I grew up with someone that's like that, or I was that person in this particular situation in my real life. And that really hasn't happened for me in a TV show. And I feel like this is going to just be an overarching sort of thematic for myself for this show, just because it is personal, because, I mean, obviously people can't see me, but I am a black man. So seeing a show that...
What?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I thought that joke was
I just
gonna
didn't want
land a
people
lot
to get
better
shocked
than
when I gave them my Twitter and my Instagram stuff, and they see all these pictures of like food and like funny jokes. And like, whoa, this is a black guy? Yeah, no, totally it is.
There's no way. I saw you eat mayonnaise. There's just no way.
That's a bull-faced lie. But when I watch this show, it resonates with me on such a personal, relatable level that speaks volumes to how well the show was written and how excellently it's acted. Because those people give great performances that allow you to relate to them on such a personal level. There's, I mean, we'll dive more into the nuts and bolts of like the interactions and the community and how that all relates going forward. But just as a whole umbrella overview, the show is great. It is really great. I didn't know what to quite expect. I thought I was going to get something along the lines of Luke Cage, where you get a show that's and you say this, that's unapologetically black, and it's not a bad thing. It's something that you don't feel as though has been diluted by the writing or handcuffed by the acting. It's something that you feel is real, even though you know that it's acted. And Luke Cage tried to do that, but I feel as though in just this one episode of Black Lightning, it did what I wanted to see more of in Luke Cage. When you look at these other shows that are on CW, there are obviously secondary characters or support characters that are African American, but they're just that. Like, so you don't ever really get you don't ever really dive into their plot line as to like how who they are affects what they are. In this show, it's different because there's no context for how who they are affects who they are, because everyone is the same. So in that, the entire show is lifted up because you don't have to have this kind of differentiation of what or why these people are different. So all of that combined makes this show very real, very visceral, and the racial overtones, the societal overtones that are pertinent right now are very evident in this show. And to your point, Andy, when you spoke about how you feel about Bright and how nothing in that movie was earned, everything in this show is earned because it's not shied away from. And I love that about this show. And I want to see more of that. I want to see it double down as it keeps going forward. And from what Jamie has told me, it hasn't backed off on the second episode. He's already seen it. I have not seen it. I'm immediately jealous because he has seen it.
But we had plans.
I'll stop there because I've been going. I'll stop there. So that's how I feel about it.
Wow, all right. It's a lot, but that's good stuff, all of it. Leroy, what about you?
Well, first, I have to thank Roman, because Roman is the reason I watched this show, because I wasn't going to watch it. Because just like there's this show on the CW called Valor, and I was like, I can't watch that. And the reason why is because it's as far as I was concerned, it's the CW. It can't handle mature content. It doesn't have the maturity to tell a true story. Right, and it can sugarcoat things, it can show things broadly, it can romanticize, but at no point could they ever do anything. They in no way are mature. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, the guy that's writing the show came from Soul Food, which was a damn good show, but really, and I didn't think anything of it. And then Roman just was like, "Have you watched it? Have you No, Brett, have you watched it?" And I was like, "What? No, what?" And he was just like, "No, you need to watch it, and then you need to hit me up after you watch it." And so, yeah, and then he told me it's, Luke Cage is black. This is unapologetically black, and it is so good. And the reason why I think it's so good is by the time he throws on the suit and he starts fighting, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. This is a comic book show.
Right.
I was so wrapped into the drama. I was so wrapped into the writing. And what this show does, and what Roman alluded to, is so many shows, when it comes to black people, they show you stereotypes. This film shows you culture. This show throws you in a world and says, this is the best of a people, and it is the worst of a people clashing. And it's like and for the first time, it treats black culture like a culture, like just any other. And I think the reason this show does so well to have so few other minorities just besides black people is because it does that. It creates something like Roman said, where everybody looks the same, so nothing seems out of place. No one seems like they're talking in the wrong. You're just in a world, and you're in a culture, and that culture just breathes. And the acting in this show is just great. I mean, the youngest daughter, I love her. I think her real name's China. She's my favorite. She's my favorite thing in the show, just because of how real and how tough she is, and the family dynamic. You feel like this is a family, and everything is just done so well, and it's treated with such mature hands that I did not think that the CW had. So, very good.
All right. And then Jamie, what about you? Spoiler free.
Well, I can't speak to the way the cultural aspects affect me, because I obviously am the whitest thing since snow. So what I can say is, first things first, I sent out a tweet, and I stand behind this being 50 minutes into the second episode now. I haven't finished it yet, but I will do it as soon as we hang up here, I assure you. To me, this is the most socially relevant piece of entertainment I've seen since Boys in the Hood. I literally cannot think of anything since Boys in the Hood that I watched that made me think and feel the way that this show does so far. And episode 2 is no different than episode 1. So I think the dynamic of the family is great. I think the cast is excellent. I think that the villains are vicious, nasty, hideous, horrible human beings. The development on both sides of that fence on good guys and bad guys is great. The dynamic between I'm not even sure if he's a detective or police chief or what he is, the cop that is friends with Black Lightning, with Jeff. I think their dynamic is so good. I mean, it's almost reminiscent of a Batman and Commissioner Gordon relationship, even though the relationship here isn't with the masked character; it's with the real identity.
Yeah, which I think that's a great juxtaposition. And yeah, I just had to say, yeah, I love that dynamic because that's the first thing I thought too. It's like, oh, it's Batman and Gordon. If Gordon just hung out with Bruce Wayne on the weekends and hated Batman, this is interesting.
Yeah, and all the interactions between all the characters. I mean, the interaction between Jeff and the gang leaders and the one that keeps messing with his daughter. I mean, we'll get into all that when we get over the spoiler wall. But I mean, all of these interactions are so heartfelt and so strong. To me, that the character work here is what's really the strongest, and I love good, strong character work, and this has it in Groves. I mean, it's insane how good it is in that aspect. I think the action sequences, although maybe even some might say a little bit limited, which to me isn't a bad thing because they're doing such a good job of keeping you invested in everything between any action sequences. That part's great, but the action sequences themselves, I think, are solid, strong, and they look good. They don't look hammy like some of the CW shows have a tendency of being. If nobody told me this was a CW show, I would never guess it because it has none of the feel of any of the other CW shows, and that's no disrespect to those other shows, but this one to me is just on a whole different level.
They didn't have to come in as strong. They didn't have to do as good a job as they did. That's the thing that hit me, was like, wow, you didn't have to do this. You could have came in and made a standard show, made him 17, 18 years old, show how he got the powers, and just done what you've always done and what's worked. But you made a conscious choice to be more than that. And yeah, bravo.
But you guys, I mean, you feel the cultural relevance here, and that's fantastic, and I'm enjoying that, although I can't have as much relation to it as maybe you guys would. But what I can relate to in this is a father who cares deeply for his daughters and will do anything he can to protect them and make sure nothing happens to them. That part is by far, for me, the strongest thing that's going on in the show so far.
And that's the thing, like, just yeah, it's Black culture, but it's still, I mean, it's still families. All the dynamics are still the same. You strip away all the cultural biases.
And I'm not trying to say it in a way that I don't get it. It's just
no. I'm saying you do get it. I'm saying that of course you get it. I mean, there's nothing not to get there. I mean, those stories are universal. Of course you get it, because that's the first thing I thought about. It was like, wow, this guy will do this. I mean, the torture of this character, the duality of it, of like, I'm trying to keep my family, but I want to. But my community needs me, and that terror of like just a father and a man just trying to be the best version of him that he can be, but like just taking L's left and right, and you're just like, wow, this. I mean, and Jamie, you do not have to be Black, and I know you feel this. I know you do, because you're just.
I do, and that's just it, man.
I'm about to say that. Let me finish. You know that if some dude put his hands on you and embarrassed you like that in front of your daughters, it has nothing to do with being Black. It has to do with the way you are seen in the eyes of your kid is in that moment. And dude, that was like, I was like, no father can watch this and not feel this. No human being that has ever cared for someone cannot feel how powerless this dude feels in this moment. Because, and that's the thing that's universal, that just that taking of power, where you're like, you're powerless. You didn't do anything wrong.
You're just completely helpless there.
Yeah.
Well, see, you guys are actually the ones that introduced me to the term DWB. I had honestly never heard that before.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think Roman was the one that said it, and you guys had that conversation about it. I was like, "What's DWB?" And then you told me, and I was like, "Oh," and that was kind of funny. Because I don't have that problem where I have the potential to get pulled over and be in that situation. And we're talking 5 to 7 minutes into the first episode of this show. Well, he gets the DWB, and guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I kind of chuckled a little bit when the cherries came on in his rearview mirror there, because I thought, DWB, this is funny because these guys have told me about DWB. And then I started feeling what they felt in that car, and then I was like, oh, this isn't funny. And then it just escalated and escalated, and I was like, oh, wow. And that was the moment I knew that this show had the potential to be something special, because I felt the fear and the frustration and the pain that everybody in that car felt, having never gone through that personally in my life. And to me, that's the strength of that, of the show, is that they make you feel it even if you don't relate to it by personal experience. That's really good storytelling to me.
Exactly. And that's what got me, because I came in the show wanting to hate it. Like, I thought I was going to hate the show. I was like, no, I didn't. I can't. I totally was just like, because, no, Roman, you were just like, no, you need to watch it. And I was like, I do not want to watch this mess. Yeah, I came in every moment where I was just like, whoa, wow. And that was me throughout the entire first episode, was saying, oh, well, oh, no, wow. Okay, wow. And the key to this is the team that runs this show. It is a husband and wife telling the story of a father and the kids. I mean, and I think that's why this show works, because you went out and you found somebody who has gone out, who's done soul food, who's done family dramas, and you said, write a family drama and put a superhero in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Boom.
Yeah, that's apt.
It is the purest definition of grounded. More than any other show on the CW and superhero shows, and quite frankly, just most dramas, because it does not shy away from anything. And at first, I was like, okay, I came in feeling that all these things were going to feel exploitive, because I was like, I saw them all coming. But every time they happened, I was like, wow, man, they're treating these with such mature hands. And they're saying, and I just love the fact that the characters are the best versions, because you see it in superheroes shows all the time. Like, everybody's always the best version of something. They're always the best version. Oh, it's the top scientist. Oh, it's the richest guy. It's the greatest mind. And that's what they took. They said, we're going to take a black man and we're going to show you the best version of that. And we are going to tell his story through the eyes of his children. And we're going to show you the best version of that, with, everything in there. And those girls are tough as nails. And I'm going to keep talking forever, so I'm going to stop and let other people talk.
No, I just real quick, I want to tack on to the end of that you mentioned before you didn't think the CW could handle the mature content necessary to tell this in an effective way. And obviously we've all seen the first episode and we know that it's there. And I mean, it carries through maybe even a little bit more into the second episode than the first. But I wanted my kids to watch this. Like, halfway through, I was like, I need to watch this with my kids. And there were some things going on that maybe I was maybe I don't need my kids to see this just yet. And then it dawned on me as I finished watching it, this is important for my kids to watch this. Now, my son, he's not going to get it. He's just not old enough. He doesn't have that grasp. He would like the stuff with the superpowers and the fighting, but he may not get it. My daughters are just now coming to that stage where they can get their heads around a lot of these concepts and ideas. So I did sit them down and I watched it with them again tonight, that first episode, and they enjoyed it. And honestly, their favorite part was what's her name? China something or other, the actress. But because they know her from, apparently she was on some Disney Channel shows.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So they know her. So like right there, that's their favorite thing about it is seeing her. And, I got done. I said, what'd you think of this? And they, I like this. This was good. Can we watch this with you every week? And I was like, sold, done. We're going to do that. But I mean, there are some things that maybe are questionable for kids to see, but I don't think it's gratuitous in the sense that it wouldn't be as important for them to watch it just the same. I mean, my daughters are 12. If your kids are around that 12-year-old age, they're probably right at that edge where I might encourage you to watch it, even though there are some more mature themes to it. But the relevance and importance of what they're saying in the show supersedes anything that might be seen as over the top for their age, if that makes any sense.
I don't know right.
And for all of our praising of the cultural relevance, it really is a good show. It's funny. It's well acted. Damn, the acting is through the roof. Like, so aside from all of our cultural relevance, it's still a damn good comic book movie too. The villains, like Jamie said, are top notch. They went out, and me and Roman were talking about this. The fact that they said, we're going to make the villain of our series, he's going to be black, and we're going to go and find the whitest black guy we can find.
Right.
They went out and got themselves an albino, and his last something I can never remember his name from the comics. It's something Whale. His last name is Whale.
Tobias Whale.
Tobias Whale. Thank you. And Tobias Whale, straight up, first thing you see him do, which we're not over the spoiler wall yet, so I'm going to stop talking. But yes, I love the fact that they went out and got him, and he is just perfect. I mean, he was only in it a few. He's just good. He's so good.
He's a nasty SOB. Just nasty.
He looks. He's like a cross between like the Kingpin and Cottonmouth. Like that's the feeling of him.
Kingpin was the first thing that came to my mind, but I mean, this dude's got a nasty. Kingpin is like reserved. This Tobias Whalecat does not have that problem. But Andy, what do you think of the show?
Yeah,
hated it. After everything you guys said, oh my god! It's funny you mentioned the guy playing Tobias Whale as we're chatting. I clicked on his name. This is only his second credit.
Really?
He did like a one episode part on Harry's Law, which was a show with Kathy Bates maybe 8 years ago, and which is actually a good show. I liked it. But anyway, and then that's it. That's his entire resume.
And so he's got so much presence.
He must do some stage work or something because he's solid.
I'm afraid of him, so he's doing his job. So I mean, you guys hit on so many amazing points. I don't really know where to pick up the ball, but I mean, number one, I was really impressed. Of course, I was always going to watch the show. It's a DC Comics superhero show. Of course, I'm going to watch it. But it was one of those where I was like, oh yeah, Black Lightning's coming. I'll check it out. And then as people started watching it and I started seeing the reactions, I was like, oh wow, like apparently this is really damn good. And I think Jamie messaged me halfway through the first episode and he goes, I haven't even finished the first episode, but this is my favorite one. And I'm like, wow, all right, perfect, that's amazing. So I just assumed that they were going to destroy skyscrapers at a certain point. But that's not what happened. So yeah, I got really excited once I saw how much people were liking it. And yeah, I'm with you guys. I loved it because I think that they are tackling so many different things and somehow making it all work together. Roman, you used the example of Bright, and I didn't even mean to make that comparison, but once you said it, my brain went there about how Bright was trying to be a fantasy, but a hard-hitting cop drama and social commentary, and it couldn't really quite deliver on any of those. And this is trying to be a family drama and social commentary and a superhero show, but it all blends together beautifully. Like here, it's the right mix of ingredients and you've got the right chefs making it and they all gel together into something that's really, really strong. So Leroy said something that I completely agree with is I'm watching the show and I'm sucked into the show and I'm getting invested in these characters and I'm seeing where all the pieces are being set up to carry us through the first season. And then he finally suits up and I'm like, oh yeah, and superhero. Duh. Forgot about that because I wasn't waiting for it, which to me is always a sign of a really great, compelling narrative, whether it be a TV show or a movie, is if I'm not going, hey, I paid for a superhero, give me my superhero. If I'm not doing that, then it means that you're doing your job and keeping me entertained and invested otherwise. It's not just coasting along on that one thing. As we discussed, like the fact that it immediately tackles just the culture of being black in America today and what you're dealing with. The scene of getting pulled over, as Jamie brought up, like is right at the outset, and you immediately realize that the show is willing to take these things head on. But at the same time, I don't feel like I have to be black to understand or to relate to it. I related to what was going on anyway, just the dynamics of the relationships and whatnot. I think they set up some great dramatic and emotional stakes between the characters, between the father and his daughters, between the father and his ex-wife, between him and I guess his mentor, whatever you want to call him, his older friend, mentor type character.
His Alfred.
If you must, his Alfred. And like just the setting up of all those relationships and what holds them together and what strains them, I thought was all really strong as well. And then at the end of the day, he suits up and beats up bad guys, which, I'm sorry, yeah, I want that too. So for me, it really did work. I loved it, and I love what it sets up for what's to come. Like, I think they got a lot of really strong leads here to follow up on through this season and then onward. But I also have to agree with some of what you guys said in that, you know, I'm not going to crap on the CW shows because I love my CW superhero shows. I do. I look forward to them every week. I enjoy them. But they have a certain formula. And that's okay. That's what's been working for them. And as you said, Leroy, it would have been really easy for them to just fit Black Lightning into that same formula, you know? He's 22 years old, and he's got a group of quirky friends who are all going to sit in some sort of secret hideaway while one of them's the tech expert, and they're going to help him out. And that's what it's going to be, because that's what they all are, and so be it. But I give them a lot of credit for not doing that, for doing something completely different and having a completely unique take on this character. And so to not only be like, oh, it's a Black Lightning show, but it's not just a standard superhero show. He's going to be older, and this is what he's dealing with, and this is the world he lives in, and these are the social pressures that he's trying to keep people safe without trying to make them prisoners in their own school and whatnot, and really trying to take on a lot more than just being like, well, yeah, it's the same superhero show. Just do what we've done and do it again. And as you guys said, when I was watching it, aside from the little logo in the corner of the screen that said CW, this didn't feel CW. And I don't mean that as a dig, because the CW knows what they do, and that's, they have their little niche, and that's what they play to. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a business. They do what they got to do. But to really push themselves out of their comfort zone and do something so different with this show and make it feel mature and, really resonant and socially conscious, and I don't know, like I give them a lot of credit for doing that. So I love that this show feels very much like its own thing. It's still incredibly fun and entertaining, and I love that about it too, because I want to be entertained. So I think they're spinning a lot of plates here, but at least from the strength of the pilot, so far so good.
There's a lot.
Completely agree.
One additional thing none of us have touched on, I'm just going to say it now. They either need to get a soundtrack album available for this thing the instant this season ends, or some brilliant genius with a lot of free time on their hands needs to create a playlist of all this music on Apple Music for me to listen to.
I was sitting there, I'm like, did they just bust out with Nina Simone on a damn CW show? I'm done. I'm done. I was like, I'm done. You got my money. And one of the things that I thought was really inspired, and I didn't think about it until I was sitting here with you guys, is one of the hurdles that they would have had to get over with the show being this grounded is the fact that there's a superhero that lives in the neighborhood. And I love the fact that it's been 9 years, and it was a great way to kind of have him rebirth or just be born in our eyes, because we weren't there before. Have a great
I see what you did there. I see what you did there.
Like that. A little rebirth action, and then still have a great backstory that you can go to. But also, one of the great things that does is in a show this grounded, say, okay, yeah, Black Lightning, we know about him, as opposed to everything you're gonna have to go through is like, oh man, there's no Black Lightning, and oh man, that's stupid. Instead of having all the arguments that you would normally have in a show that would proceed to be this grounded, it's all gone because the guy was already kicking ass years ago. I love it. That I thought was a great inspired idea. The ability to do a lot of flashbacks. I don't know if they're going to kind of do that a lot, but just
I hope they don't. Just from the aspect of like the flashback thing has been literally buried into the ground in Arrow. It's
what I think. It'll come up in certain times. Like I don't think you're going to have it every episode, but I think you're going to have it 2 or 3 times just for the way that things set up.
Yeah, but I think what it also does is like it takes us out of like Andy was alluding to, like you know the ingredients of a CW show that works. they know it, and they put it into the same bowl, they mix it, and they bake it up the same way for 4 shows. And, what they didn't do here is there is no origin story. There is none of that buildup of like him having to learn his powers and what his limits are and what he can and can't do, and trying to build a team in and around him. There's none of that. Yeah. Because this dude's been through it. This stuff was damn near killing him. Tore apart his family, obviously. Like it's such a great. I mean, it's almost a perfect mirror of the other 4 shows, because it's someone who has been established, and you can see how, living that superhero life, can be just physically and mentally taxing on you, and on your family, and on those people around you, and on the neighborhood. So to see it from that aspect, and not have it just be, this person who's all bright-eyed and bushy-tailed about their powers, about becoming a superhero and all the great things they can do and all the world-saving things. No, for him to just say, like, listen, like, I'm tired, like, I can't, like, I don't want to do this anymore, but like and to see him have to struggle with that, coupled with trying to protect his family, knowing he can do more, but at the same point, knowing what that more does to him on so many other levels, like it's great to see that.
No, to watch the struggle of not just that. I mean, just think about that. 9 years. He wasn't Black Lightning for 9 years in the hope that it would get his wife back. Like, he did all of this for her, man. I was like, damn, that's what I love about the show. It's this great representation of what it is to be a man. And then just a black man. Because this dude is just like, he's not. He and his ex, they don't hate each other. His kids, yeah, they're headstrong and they're fierce, but they have wills of their own. And you can tell that he's encouraged that. He was like, yeah, it pisses me off that you guys are so headstrong and so hell-bent on taking care of yourselves and all this, but that's how I raised you. And then how tough his daughters are. Oh my God. I can't tell you how much I loved how tough his daughters are and how they just don't take no crap. Oh my God. I'm so tired of seeing that. Like, I'm just as tough as you see. I'm just glad I don't have another Felicity Smoke, and we'll leave it at that. And I love Felicity. But I have seen that you have one or two things. You have like a trained assassin, or, somebody who's been trained up for years to be that kind of kick-ass person, or you have like the girl that kind of quirks in. These are girls that like, yeah, my dad taught me a few moves, but even if I didn't know it, I'm not going to have you disrespect me. I love that. That just I don't know why, but it just hit me. And then and the sisters, they feel like sisters. They talk to each other like sisters talk to each other. And I love that. And the husband and wife, like I know, I've never been married, but I know when there's that thing where you guys just know you don't work right now together, but there's always that connection where like you're not even together and you're just like, yeah, you're here with somebody, I'm here with somebody, but yeah, there's still this thing. I mean, we both know that, right? I mean, that thing that just doesn't ever let go. And the fact that he gave up being Black Lightning for 9 years because he was like, I'm going to make a promise to this woman, and I'm going to keep it. I mean, even though, hell, man, you just see superheroes quit, and they quit for like a season. And this guy quit for like 9 years. And
Batman quit for 8 years, and you gave him all kinds of shit about it. So.
Yes, well, if Batman ever said, I'm quitting for my wife, then yeah, it would have been a totally different story.
Except Batman isn't Black Lightning, so it doesn't matter.
He is not.
But I mean, to acknowledge what Roman was saying, I agree about like the fact that they made him so old is great. Like it just tees up everything in such a different place that it's really hard to go back to what you're comfortable with, which I love. Chris Williams is 47, which is even older than I thought. Like, I was watching it and I was like, I don't know, like, yeah, he's probably 42, you know, like I didn't know. I mean, he looks great. So I Googled it and I'm like, oh, he's 47. I had no idea he was pushing 50. So
I wouldn't call him old to his face.
well, I just told him he could pass for 42. So he's happy to hear that. Actually, he could pass for 32, which is why they could do flashbacks if they want. But anyway, like just that was just such a different approach to this, which I loved, because you're right, it gets you past all of this other, oh, is Black Lightning real? You know, what is his powers? He's learning to use his powers. And so it just sets things up on a very different playing field, which allows for the show to be very different and very unique, which is great.
And I think it allows for like adults to come in, because I think that's one of the things that turns us off, especially adults who aren't into comic book movies. And I'll tell you right now, like black folks, they don't have to like comic book movies. They're gonna be like, oh wait, there's a Black Star. I'm gonna go check this out. But I think, but like this Black Lightning is a show that I know, like, I could not get my mom to go watch Spider-Man. Okay, I mean my mom just does not like comic book stuff at all. That's not her bag. I could get her to watch this show. And I'm telling you right now is the fact that the superhero is an adult, a father, a parent, is going to be would be the thing that could catch her. It's like, yeah, he's black, but he's also a parent. And he's got to deal with some teenage daughters, you know, and he's got to deal, you know, and he's a principal. So he's responsible for children. And he wants to be, you know, and he's a husband who's trying to get his wife back, and other girls are trying to roll up on him, and he ain't having that. So I mean, it's, and by the way, can we just point out for 1 second that his assistant sister, whatever that girl, the sister was that was helping him out that night in that blue dress. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That was amazing. I am sorry. Yes, I went full heterosexual male. This woman is gorgeous from head to toe. And yeah,
that's the one thing that keeps me reminded that I am watching a TV show. Is there don't appear to be a lot of unattractive people in this that aren't bad guys.
Yeah, that's very CW.
I mean, but wow. And they are, you're right, they are beautiful people. Like, these are some of the most beautiful sisters I've ever seen in my life. I love this show. But yeah, no, I'm sorry I don't went on a tangent like that. But yeah, she is, wow, just beautiful.
So, spoilers, there's an attractive woman in a blue dress. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
Sorry. I feel us wanting to talk spoilers, so let's get over the wall. But obviously, we all really enjoyed the show. We're going to continue watching the show. We highly recommend you guys out there watch the show. It's great. It's really, really good. And even if you're one of those people, because I do know those people are out there who are like, yeah, I can't get into the CW shows because they're so CW. I feel like I've heard that a lot. Even if that's you, I'd still give this a shot because this doesn't feel so CW. And again, I'm saying that as someone who really likes the CW shows. But they have a certain tone, and this is a very different tone. It's very unique to the show. A lot of people did check it out, though. It premiered. It had the highest rated premiere in 2 years since Legends of Tomorrow. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. So this is why we keep getting these superhero shows, because we want to watch them. But yeah, it really strong premiere, and hopefully people will keep watching. But we are going to talk spoilers. We're going to talk about everything that happened in that pilot. If you haven't watched the pilot, go watch it. Again, it's free. It's on the CW app. Check it out and then come back. Or if you don't care about spoilers, then it's all good. So now spoilers are A-okay. Just real quick, something that what you just said, Leroy, about the lady in the blue dress. Either I didn't do my homework or what, but when she approached, I was like, oh, that's his wife. Okay, that's nice. Like, his wife is helping him out at the fundraiser. And then when he goes up and he meets his ex-wife, I went, oh, I completely misjudged what was going on here. And again, like, setting up your hero and his wife to be estranged from the pilot is a very different approach to one of these shows. You would think that, oh, it's a family unit, they're going to be happily married, but to already create that rift between them because of Black Lightning, I think is a really compelling, dramatic arc to give them, because it's not about love, it's about something else, and that can tear people apart too. So I thought that was really, really great.
Well, and to jump in on that, and this is just more of an overarching theme that I mean, I don't know if you guys, being Andy and Jamie, realize it or notice this, but oftentimes when you see separated black families in movies or shows, there's some negative connotation as to why they have been separated. And I mean, I'm saying negative as in, like, you know, someone cheated or something along those lines. To see it portrayed as it's not because we don't love each other, but it's simply because this one thing is so close to being life or death for us as a couple. They're like, I can't be with you because of it. Like, that's a split that me as a black person watching this show, that I don't, that I can get behind, because it's not something that's portraying us as being unable to sustain relationships.
Well, I mean,
does that make sense? Or?
It was hard enough for her to deal with seeing him in the agonizing pain that he was in, coming home battered and bruised and beaten the way that he was. But if you notice, her breaking point was when the daughter saw him in that condition.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what really told her to cut it loose.
And, you know, and that's something that's something that makes sense. That's something that's like that like anyone who just, with everything that they are, loves someone, but does not and cannot stand for them to be or see them hurt, or have something that can hurt them. So their only option is to remove themselves from the situation. That makes sense. That's powerful. Not like, oh, you know, he's just a trifling, cheating black dude, and I left him. Like that.
Oh, and not only that.
Or whatever the context may be that portrays it negatively, like this rift or chasm between them makes sense, and it pushes their relationship forward, because like you said, and you can still see that there's that connection between them, but you just know that, like, you don't know that they're ever going to get back together, because they both know who they are to each other.
Well, and it's like, and I bought that. I bought that as a very credible reason for them, A, to not be together, and B, for him not to be Black Lightning. Right. Because when you're faced with that, I have to choose between my family or this other thing, or let's call it my job, you know, you're going to choose your family. You should choose your family. Their safety, their happiness comes first. And so him hanging up the tights for the sake of his, you know, now estranged wife, but more importantly for his daughters, and he then trying to make the world a better place without punching people in the face. Like, I bought all of that. Yeah. Normally I might go, oh, come on, you wouldn't quit being a superhero. But they gave me just the right reason where I go, you know, I get why he would. And then when things get really bad in the episode and he's got to step back up, you understand why he's so reluctant at first. You understand that motivation. And then it gets to the point where the two have to come together, and he has no choice but to break his own promise for the safety of his own family. And that's the only thing that could push him to make that decision, because he's been on the wagon for 9 years now. It takes something that drastic to knock him off it.
Right. And that's the thing that drove both of those decisions was his family. It was his family that drove him to quit. It was his family that also drove him to come back in, because he was out of options.
Right.
And it was kind of, because I didn't quite get until just listening to you guys when she says the night the cops pulled him over was the night that she was like, well, this was the night that, you know, Black Lightning was reborn. And I was like, okay, well, as a black man, he even said it was the third time this week, but it happened in front of his daughters.
Mm.
And I was like, okay, this is what changed it for him, is that you did it in front of his kids. And I get it. And one of the things that I just want to touch on real quick is how hard that must have been for her to leave him. And she basically did it to save his life. And I think she stays gone because she knows that she's the only thing, the hope that they'll be together, or that he'll hurt, or that, something could happen to him while they're estranged. He doesn't want things to end like that. And so I think she stays away, because the truth of the matter is, and I think she knows this, is the thing that keeps making him go back out night after night after night is what made her fall in love with him. And so that's the struggle that I think she has. And I think that's why she, even the next day after the whole Black Lightning thing, or, they had, this moment where there's still some reluctancy there, is because she's just like, I know you. She was like, the reason I love you is what makes you go out. And I have to leave you to keep you alive, because you'll go kill yourself. And I think that's why, she didn't want her kids, like you guys said, to see him die, is why she left. And she still loves him, and I think she still wants to be with him. But she's like, if I go back to him, he might fall off the wagon. I think she thinks her estrangement is the one thing that's keeping him out. But now that he's delved back in, I think, oh my God, there's so much great drama here that is just so well. Because the thing about him totally restraining himself is basically just a brother trying not to get beat down by the cops. And oh God, the scene with him when he stops the kid with the gun. That was my favorite scene in anything I've seen this year. Any TV show I've seen this year. I don't want to go further than that. But
you're talking about when he's at the school trying to confront the daughter again,
pull the gun, and he stops him.
Yeah. What are you going to do when you pull that gun? Yes.
Yeah.
That was
probably the bravest thing, because the thing about Black Lightning is he can get stopped by a bullet. And that's what I think that's so great, is he's one bullet away from this all ending. And you feel that in almost every episode. You feel like he's one bullet away. And I've never felt like that watching a show. They're like, oh my God.
His interactions with everybody. We touched on this a little bit before we got over the spoiler wall, but his interactions with everybody are superb. Be it with the ex-wife, the cop, his daughters, the students in his school. I love the way he interacts with them.
With teaching Mobit. Yeah. He's always trying to teach.
And even with Latavius, whatever you want to call him, whatever he calls him.
Yeah, that scene was great.
And his little cousin and this guy in front of the school. I mean, the way he interacts with them is strong and powerful. And he's not puffing up his chest saying, you touch my people, I'm going to whip your ass. He's telling them there's a better way to go about this, and we can do it the right way. We don't need to do it in a way where somebody gets hurt. And I love how his heart is in that place of, I want to do right by everybody, not just the people that I love and care about.
Mm.
That makes him a strong character. I mean, among other things, of course. But
him and Lala, that was that kid, that was a great example. And I can't take credit for this. Someone else said it, of positive masculinity and toxic masculinity. And
absolutely. Absolutely.
And Black Lightning has got
that was hard to watch. Because I've had that happen to me, where I've had people who I know are growing up, that I know they're going down the wrong path. Yeah. I've actively avoided them from being in my life. And I've seen them take kids who were on the fence and try to frame it as, listen, I'm trying to help you, make you tough. But at the same point in time, you're reinforcing those same things that are going to get them killed in 5 years.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. And it was just it was two sides of the same coin, because both of those guys are raising kids. And that's what it was. And it was so, man, the line, I mean, it was right there. I mean, like, I don't have to pick it out of there. It was right there. He's like, you raise them your way, I'll raise them mine. And you're like, oh God, like, dude, it's just like, he got kids at home. He got the school to worry about. Like the Black Lightning game, trying to pull him back in. I'm like, how is this guy sane? Like, how is he holding it together? And the fact that he is, and the fact that, I mean, like, the little moments where he takes opportunities to teach his daughters, like where he quotes MLK, and I'm like, okay. There was this moment where I felt it, and I don't know if you felt like this, Roman, or you, Jamie, or Andy. I was like, I almost was like, God, man, I wish my dad would have quoted MLK to me like that. Like you
Right? Yeah.
you have that moment where you're like, I I want that to be a part of my life. I want to have those kind of moments where my parents hammer something like that into me. And to the point where we could have those level of discussions. And that's what I think is so great about this show. Is like I've never sat there and watched a lot of shows, not just CW shows, mind you, but a lot of shows, and said in the same breath, man, I kind of want that to have been my family. And oh wait, that's just like my family.
Yeah.
And it shows you the best of you. It shows you the best of a family in the worst of conditions. And I love that because not a lot of shows show that. Definitely not a lot of comic book shows, but not a lot of dramas do this. And it's truly, truly inspired. I don't know who the hell over in CW is greenlit this, but dude, man, that person deserves a corner office for real. I mean, whoever greenlit this is, yeah.
And I loved what you bringing up the part with whatever the little shithead's name was who was into Jennifer and then came to the school. Forget, I don't remember what the character's name was, but when he tries to pull that
twice and I still don't know what his name is.
Yeah, when he tries to pull that gun and Jeff goes up to him, and I loved what he said because he like appealed to his own self-preservation and been like, what is your plan here? You know that the police are going to show up and they have no problem shooting you. Like, how do you think this is going to end for you? And it was just like, it was very brave, and he was obviously trying to protect the kids, but at the same time, like, even though this little shit is doing all the wrong stuff, he's still trying to look out for him in a way, which, I don't know, I just thought it was handled so well, and he said exactly the right thing to diffuse the situation and make him walk away.
Exactly. And he does that throughout. I mean, that scene was the strongest example of it, but he's constantly, again, trying to give the best option to everybody so that it doesn't have to become a tragic situation, because he realizes this community has enough tragedy anyway. So he's at all costs trying to avoid any further tragedy, even if it's for somebody screwing with his daughter, threatening to kill his daughter. I mean, any of that stuff. I mean, the guy's doing right by the people of that community in doing it the way he's doing it.
But I think there's two kind of things that really stick out to me that is touching upon, and one of which being the arc about black male paranoia. You know, the DWB at the beginning, the dynamic, the social commentary of the community and the cops, and there's that obvious mistrust and distrust, and then there's the community paranoia of like, where can we be safe in our own community if the gangs are everywhere? Mm-hmm. So what they did, and to me, they did the best world building in this show that they've done in any of their other shows, because when you think of just to take Supergirl and Flash, Central City and National City, they're just like generic kind of cookie cutter places that just exist in this ether of worlds. So when you see people kind of coming in and out of these worlds, they're just kind of in it. There's no real vested interest in anyone else outside of those main characters. And not to say that there should be, but like, they're just there. So you never really get like there's any sort of like deeper community around these cities. Like, if you're like, you never feel as though like they feel obligated to save their city because it's part of them. They're saving it because they're there and they can. Whereas,
well, right. No, I mean, I think I get what you're saying is, whereas like Central City does not have a personality.
Right.
National City doesn't really have a personality. Star City a little bit in Arrow, but here the community is so important, and as far as what the dynamics are and what's going on in that community and how that affects Jeff and his family and his school and his life, and how that so directly relates to Black Lightning, as opposed to, oh, I have superpowers, and how about the people in this random generic city? Yeah.
Well, and also what we see in the show that you don't see in a lot of other shows, and it's what really sucks about this show is, and this is one of the few things that sucks about this show, but what really sucks about this show is that it's not going to get lumped in as a drama. It is just going to be a comic book show. And hopefully, people will come and take a look at it, because the thing is that unlike a lot of shows, almost no character in this entire show, with the exception of maybe 2 people, had any interaction with Black Lightning as Black Lightning.
Right.
No one interacts with him on that level. He's very much alone when he's doing his Black Lightning thing. There's really no one else.
That's an interesting perspective. I like
now,
that.
we know that's going to change because his daughter's in the comic. Well, spoilers for non-comic book readers, but it's definitely going to change. We've seen hint of it in the end of the first episode. But
and they've already released a photo of her in costume, so
yeah,
it's out there.
Is she Thunder or Lightning? Anyway,
she's Thunder.
She's Thunder. Okay, cool. And so you see, you don't get that interaction, because even if those 2 people change, I don't think you're going to see a lot of interaction with his alter ego. It really is about this person. It's just handled better than a lot of other shows, and like the personality and what they nailed with the city is, look, man, we're shooting this stuff on sound stages and in cities that are dressing like other cities. A city isn't a place, it's the people. And what this does is it shows you the people on a consistent basis. You have interactions with people that live in this community that I really feel like over the course of this series, you might see come back every 5 or 6 episodes, or maybe once or twice a year, or maybe people that kind of come in and out, but kind of had their stories and they kind of weave in and out. But it's really about the neighborhood, and the fact that the neighborhood is its people. And the fact that you have a black commissioner of the cops who are saying, look, hey, man, this is what we got to deal with too, I thought was a nice dynamic as well. And the fact that he is really great friends with the cop who, given the opportunity, would arrest his alter ego, I think is another great dynamic. This, Andy said it, there's a lot of plates. I'm curious to see how they handle it, but it's almost like the superhero stuff is secondary, which I think to do a good drama, maybe it has to be. But there's still enough room there, because you basically handle your confrontations with the good guys and the bad guys like you would in any other show. But with this show, just a couple of people have superpowers, and that's what.
And I don't feel shorted on the superhero side of things.
I know, right?
So that's good. Like, because there are superhero shows out there where I do feel like, okay, you guys are sacrificing the superheroics for whatever else. I don't feel that here. I feel like it's all working in tandem at the moment. So at the end of it, I was like, no, like that gave me just enough of my geeky superhero stuff that I'm looking for, and so much more. I'm a happy camper. I got what I wanted. I also have to say, just in a nerdy fanboy way, I loved that they had him in the old costume in the old footage.
Yeah, but
I thought that
was my favorite sequence in the entire episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved almost everything about the episode, but my very favorite thing was that. But yeah, the costume thing was also very cool.
Can we get the old costume back though? Because that Dayglow Night Bright thing he's got going on in the front of his chest is just. I'm not feeling that. I love
when he's watching that clip and the old guy's talking about it and how without Black Lightning, he let me see my kids go to college, let me see the first black president, let me see my grandkids. So even if he is dressed up like some tripped out member of Parliament Funkadelic, and I love that they cut to his face and the reaction on his face where he says Parliament. I lost both times I watched that. I lost it laughing at that because that was hilarious. But I love that old man. I mean, he's speaking with that passion of saying we need a guy like this out here because he's going to do the things that the police can't do or won't do. And I mean, you get that character that says that in quite a few of the superhero shows and movies. But I love that delivery and the way that he said it. I mean, it just.
Well, he's another older
I
guy.
believed it. I mean, I believe that performance of that actor gave on that videotape. And I love that it was his Alfred that sent it to him, by the way, trying to say, hey, get back in the game. But that was my favorite thing. I love that old guy's delivery there. That whole sequence I thought was fantastic.
Well, and that was such a great counterpoint to everything he's been going through. Like, I love that he's got this other force pulling him in the other direction where, he tried to make the old argument of, oh, I fought bad guys for how many years? None of it mattered. Nothing ever changed. And on a certain level, you go, oh, yeah, okay, that's how you can justify this to yourself. And the fact that James Remar, who his character, what is it? Not Gordy, Gamby. The fact that he's like, no, you changed a lot of lives and you can't forget that. So it's really a tough call because, of course, his commitment is to his family, but he, that's a perfect example of someone whose life he changed. And if he was not around, that guy's story would be over. So I love that push and pull of having Jeff in the middle of that.
I fully agree. And to me, and this is the highest form of praise I can possibly give this show, and everybody will know it when I say it. It's reminiscent of The Dark Knight Returns, where you have all of these people, you have this one group of people that will say how much they love Batman and how much good he's doing, and you have this other group of people saying he's a deranged maniac that needs to be arrested, shot, killed, whatever. So, I mean, you get a lot of that dynamic with the media and these people talking in this show, where you definitely have a divided point of this side all wants him there and this side all wants him gone.
Well, I want him there. I want more of this show.
Oh yeah, I want him there. Yeah, I'm in that camp all day.
Well, I think. So, what do you guys think? So we talked about a lot. Like, yeah, I think we pretty much talked about everybody. I'm trying to think of somebody. What did you guys think of his Alfred?
Well, so number one, it's just odd for me to see James Remar as this sweet guy because
right, yeah, he usually plays like some brazen, like rough character.
Yeah, he has a very sinister demeanor, and so he tends to play villains, and so it's just he's playing very much against type here of being like the nice older mentor character. I liked him. I like the setup. I was excited to see a token white person. Because representation matters, guys. But no, I think James Remar is a great actor. He's been around a long, long time, and so yeah, it's interesting to see him play this type of character. But I dug it, and I liked the idea of the tailor shop lightning cave.
It's very what is it? I'm drawing a blank. What's the movie with Exy?
Kingsman?
Yes,
Kingsman.
There you go. Yeah, see, you know what I was talking about.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
No, it's definitely very reminiscent of Kingsman.
So can we talk a little bit more about Tobias Whale? Because, dude, first of all, they establish him immediately. They say Black Lightning was created for the sole purpose of killing Tobias Whale.
Yep, that was his
so you kind of have the idea that
Tobias
this dude's
Whale
a nasty.
And not only that, but Tobias Whale thinks he killed him.
Right. And then when they establish Tobias Whale himself, you're basically getting instantly, before you even see his face, you're getting a guy dropped into a fish tank filled with piranhas that are shredding him apart.
That was pretty awesome.
That was. I mean, everything about that guy is just
Was anyone else for a second was like, wait, what just happened? Who was he? Like, what the...
He was me. That's who he was.
Yeah, it was me. It took me a second to catch up, but yeah, I love him, man. He's got a great look. He's got a great air about him. He was a little classic villain, but classic is classic for a reason. So I didn't mind that so much. He's definitely got that air of villainy about him that is pretty standard. But yeah, he's got a lot of presence, and you definitely get this sense that he can go from 0 to 60 at any second.
Right, and you kind of get that Vader Emperor thing going too, because they established Lala as being a nasty, bad guy that needs to be feared, but then he's clearly the bootlicker for Tobias Whale, so that establishes Tobias Whale on another level yet.
Yeah, I definitely could see Lala becoming kind of an anti-hero. I could definitely see that happening, especially since Lightning was like one of his mentors when he was younger. So
And the interaction between those two it continues in episode 2, and it's
I hope
outstanding.
so, because
Well,
it is this great dynamic of you're one of the kids that I lost, and you basically took everything I taught you and you perverted it.
Yeah.
And that's got to be a hard hit, because it's like, my God, he wouldn't be the man he is if I had not instilled some of these values in him. He's perverted those values for his own gain, but I kind of gave him the tools for him to become the man that he is. And that's got to kind of be a hit, because it's like, not only are you one of the ones that I lost, you're basically using my powers for evil and stuff. I mean, you're my freaking Vader. And so that I like that dynamic a lot, and I'm definitely, thank you, Jamie. I was really hoping that Lala was going to kind of be not a semi mainstay.
Well, and they really played with my loyalties there, because when Lala showed up, I hated him because he was such an a-hole in that meeting, and Jennifer, is that her name? Jennifer. I loved that she kept saying what I was thinking, which is, this is not about you. You need to get out of there. Because she was like, I don't even know him. This is not, this has nothing to do with me. It's none of my business. I love that she was saying all the right, smart things to get the hell out of her. And when he would not let her go, I was like, oh God, I hate this guy, right? This is our villain. And then when he's meeting with Jeff, I kind of liked him again. Mm-hmm. And then we had him turn with the little kid, and then I didn't like him again. So like, I kind of kept going back and forth on him. And I like that he's there, and he's a bit of a wild card because he was showing Jeff respect. And so I was like, well, maybe he's not all bad. And then to introduce Tobias Whale, it's like, oh, there's an even bigger bad out there that we're going to have to deal with. I don't know. I really like the way they played with it, because Lala was intimidating enough. And then when Lala was slapping around the guy who went to the school who took the daughters, and when he was bitching him out, I was like, yeah, you get him, Lala. I was rooting for him for a minute. So yeah, it was a very interesting thing where I liked him, then I didn't, then I did, then I didn't.
Oh, you talking about when they were in the hotel room toward the end there, and he was knocking him around saying, "Are you out of your damn mind bringing these girls here? They're
exactly where he's like, yeah,
Jesus in this community."
Exactly. I loved that moment. At that point, I was cheering him on.
And I think one of the things that I loved about Lala, and I think that they represented it pretty well, was like, this is what the hood will make you.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I loved about Lala. Like, he felt like he is a product of his environment, for better or for ill. He is what this. But then Tobias Whale, like, that's what I loved about Tobias Whale, was like, okay, Tobias Whale is the emperor to his Vader, very much so. And like, he is a Vader that's like, damn, man, you really did have some good in you once. Like, you went to this guy's school, and you probably took his lessons more to task than half his other students. How crazy is that? But, the hood, he's what the hood made him. And so, yeah, man, this is crazy that we're sitting here talking about Black Lightning like this. This is blowing my mind. The more and more I think about it, the more and more I think about the episode. I watched it twice myself. I'm like, you could make this guy, like, if you wanted to make this a hardcore reality drama, he could just be a vigilante and it would still work on the exact same level. If he was just a regular old-fashioned vigilante, like a real life, Death Wish type vigilante, this story still works. And that's what I think they set out to do, was like, we are going to tell a story about a father and about a man who loves his community so much that he went out to do the right thing as a vigilante. He just happened to have superpowers. And that's what this show always feels like to me. He happens to have superpowers. His nature makes him go out and do the right thing. And he just happens to have superpowers, because regardless of the powers, like, his wife is like, it's either Black Lightning or me. He's like, well, I'm going to find another way to be a good man and help my community, because that's just my nature. And that's what I love about him. Like, say whatever you want about Batman. If Batman was broke, I still believe Bruce Wayne would have found a way to become Batman. It was, the money made it easier, but he would have been a cop. He would have been some variation of the man he made. That situation defined him, however, broke or not. And that's what I think Black Lightning is. It was like, look, he's a hero. He is a hero, no matter what. And when he couldn't be a superhero, he decided to be a regular, old-fashioned, everyday, normal hero. And that's what I think this show, that's what's at the core of this show. This show is a story about a hero. And powers or not, he will always be a hero. And other shows do it. Other shows claim to do it. But this show in one episode has done it better than most.
Yeah. And did you hear that? We got Leroy saying good things about Batman, and we got it on tape.
I love Batman. Actually, you know what? It's funny because I'm taking a break from Batman right now. So, like, by the time I get around to everything that's going on with the metal, it's going to be all done. So I'm very much looking forward to like binging on metal. I just needed a Batman break, guys. That's all.
Since we're on the horn, I want to apologize for that Black Panther Batman meme today. Someone put that up in another group. And I said I need to borrow this because I'm about to ruin somebody's day.
I don't know you're apologizing. I was laughing my ass off. I was just giving you a hard time. I thought it was hilarious.
As soon as I saw that, I'm like, I know who I'm sending this to.
It was awesome. I was dying. I was like, I had to just come out and talk about, I was like, I don't know any bat people that Black Panthers killed in Marvel. I don't know. I just couldn't think of anything else that was that funny. So I just said that.
Anyway, back to Black Lightning.
There was another moment in Black Lightning that stood out to me. Number one, they acknowledge other heroes' existence. They said, oh, there are heroes in other cities and they're called heroes. But our hero, Black Lightning, is called a vigilante because he happens to be black. What about that? And so, number one, I loved just kind of calling out the double standard there. But at the same time, I love that they acknowledge that there are other heroes in this universe, in whichever Earth they're on.
Well, they're definitely not
totally
on.
Get the point that they're making, but I mean, not that Batman exists in their universe, but I mean, like other characters, Arrow is a vigilante, Batman's a vigilante. I mean, it's not like he's the only one with that label. So while I get the point and I think it's relevant, I'm not sure I necessarily agree with it entirely. But then again, I don't know how it's actually established in their world. So
well, I mean, obviously not.
It has to be a different Earth.
Exactly. Like within context of this world, they're just making a point of the double standards that could exist. So yeah, I mean, if you're talking about our world, yeah, I mean, sure, Batman comics, sometimes they call him a vigilante. I just meant in the context of this show, I thought that was an interesting angle.
Sure.
Yeah. But it was in that moment, I was like, okay, well, they're definitely not in Prime Earth because that's all you hear about is being called vigilante. So I was like, they're definitely not in Prime Earth. So, but I'm actually, it's funny. Part of me wants it to be interconnected, and part of me doesn't. And I'm kind of going back and forth on it. But I could almost definitely see like one of his daughters ending up on like one of the different Earths, or Prime Earth, like Thunder or Lightning coming to Prime Earth. I think that would definitely work. Like, I don't know if I'd want to see Black Lightning come and hang out with the Flash. Like, I don't know.
Screw that, I want to see it.
That was my boy Roman. And just
they're gonna cheat. They're gonna cheat just the way they did with Supergirl. Is the show's gonna be on its own Earth, but then through a portal they'll be able to cross over for an episode and then go back to their Earth. So that way they can have their cake and eat it too. I think they've already set the precedent.
I think it's going to be Thunder and Lightning. I think they'll go to like Earth Prime. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be Black Lightning. I don't think he'll go. But
at some point it'll happen. But
yeah, it's definitely happening at some point.
Going into this, I mean, I've read a couple of these the Cold Dead Hands issues, which that's an outstanding series, guys. Read Black Lightning, Cold Dead Hands, 6-issue miniseries. They're only 3 issues deep. I mean,
put it down right now.
It's very good. If you like the show, you'll like the book because they're very much on the same tone. But I'm not familiar with his power set so much, so I wasn't exactly sure if he's just like going to blast lightning from his hands or if he controls electricity. I mean, I'm not fully aware of it, but watching him come into that Seahorse Motel at the end with the Jack White song playing over it, which I adore, by the way, and seeing him blend martial arts with various usages of this power, I thought was a tremendous sequence. And then when he picks up the Lala's cousin and he's sweating him down, trying to figure out where Lala's at, and drops him on top of the car, that whole sequence, just front to back, was magnificent. And I think he even said that ding dong shot him, and he pulls the bullet out of his suit, and he says, at some point you should give a pause so I can say something heroic, but instead you just pissed me off.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I like that when the Black Lightning goes to the hotel, no one's safe. He's shocking random people. I was like, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, that guy didn't do anything except open the door, man.
Oh, I know, right? I thought the same thing. I was like, hey, that dude, he's not part of this. What are you doing?
Well, I mean, if he's shacked up at this hotel, you got to figure he's probably
that was
somewhat
the
of a
thing. The
shady
whole premise
character.
was that
That is not our business. It's not Black Lightning's business. He's a grown man. He can do as he likes as long as he's not hurting anybody. He doesn't deserve to get shocked.
Apparently, Black Lightning does not feel the same.
Yeah.
Black Lightning feels like a father who's going in to get his daughters out of this about to be sex slave ring that they're running in this hotel. So
when Black Lightning gets on a roll,
believe me,
everybody get out of his way.
Right. I get this. I completely get this.
No, he went. How'd you put it? He's like, he didn't go Black Lightning. He went father.
Yeah.
He went dad. He's just seeing little girls and jerks everywhere. See,
Pissed off Black Dad. That's it right there.
Yeah, he went pissed off Black Dad. Yeah, he was shocking everyone random. Oh gosh, that was a good sequence. I have to say, the action, it's not nearly as stylized as everything else, but I think that kind of works with the groundedness. I feel that. It feels more believable than some of those other shows. Because that's actually one of my biggest critiques of the other shows is a lot of the fight sequences feel staged and flimsy and just don't look particularly good a lot of the time. Sometimes they look good, other times not so much. This one, to me, for the most part, I was very pleased with the two biggest sequences I can recall are the one in the club where he gets her out of that room with Lala. And then at the end when he bails the daughters out of the motel. And both of those sequences felt very strong and very solid to me. And when he blew up the cop car, that had me dying. I was like, damn, dude, come on. You have to blow up the car.
Listen, this Cress Williams is his name, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Am I saying that right? Okay. The expressions that he gets on his face for various emotions are excellent. I think his performances in that regard are outstanding as well. But when those two cops with the tasers are out there screaming at him to get down after he comes out of the club, and the one says, "Get your black ass on the ground," and he gets that look on his face and his eyes light up for that first time, it's like, yup, here we go.
I was like, oh, you were so done. I was like, the second he blew up, I was just like, yeah, he's about to blow up that car. I was just like, you caught him on the wrong night. Like, I was like, if you would have freaking said that mess, like maybe 24 hours ago, might have been all right. But yeah, he was just like, it was literally the last straw at that point. I was like, yep, he's done.
And I wonder how much of that was a commentary or a play with the opening sequence where he's pulled over and sweated down because they're assuming he might be a suspect in this, what was it, a liquor store robbery or something like that? Yep. And I love his response to that is, oh, and what, the suspect was a black man in a suit driving a Volvo station wagon?
Yeah.
That was solid there. But then he kind of has the same scenario here where they're sweating him down. They don't know if he's a genuine suspect or not. They just see a black man out there and they think the worst of it. And at that point, you can tell that he's just fed up and he's had enough, and he unleashes on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was definitely the fed up portion of it. But yeah, gosh, so good. Yeah, I'm trying not to say anything else because I'll just keep talking.
Oh yeah. Well, I also like Jamie's point about the powers. I think traditionally, he just shot electricity, and I think that they just are finding creative ways to use that electricity in different ways, so it's not one node. So I dig that too.
So what do you guys think the suit actually does?
I would guess conducts electricity.
It has to somehow amplify his powers to a level that we obviously haven't seen yet.
It keeps him safe when he's jogging at night.
Oh, no, he did not.
It keeps me safe when I'm jogging at night.
I mean,
I was just-
we can
I was
see
curious
it
if
protects
I
him from a bullet, which is good.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
hell of a
kinda.
plus.
Yeah, but no, I was just curious because the guy said he was like, "Oh yeah, we upgraded the suit," and I was like, "Oh, so does it do something?" Because all right, yeah. So I'm waiting to see what the suit does.
Well, in any other established superhero universe, it means they're going to sell more action figures. But since I don't know of more than one Black Lightning action figure that I actually own, by the way, I'm not sure that's why.
I think I actually had a Black Vulcan action figure.
Was there a Black Vulcan too? Because
No,
there was some series of DC figures, and I can't remember the name of the series, but it had like a Green Lantern Parallax action.
Oh
figure.
yeah, it was Total Justice.
Total Justice. Yes, thank you.
And Black Lightning. Yeah,
Right.
I had the same. Yeah, I had the whole set.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
but that wasn't Black. That was Black Lightning. And Black Vulcan was only for the Super Fin show because
Right.
they didn't. Because the guy that created Black Lightning wouldn't give them permission to use Black Lightning, so they literally just called him Black Vulcan. That's it. That's the only difference.
Did he
Same
have
suit.
pointy ears and make the little El Shaddai symbol and all that stuff?
No, I think they were referring to volcanoes. But yeah, no.
They did switch up his costume just enough so they wouldn't get sued.
Was it? Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah.
They gave him like a full cowl and like almost like little flash lightning bolts out of his ears.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, so bad.
Did they make him a different shade of black?
So
No, not really. I don't think so. I can't remember. I think the last time I saw Black Lightning was in animated form was what was it? Batman, Superman, Public Enemy.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he was in there. He was, fun fact, he was voiced by LeVar Burton.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had like one line. Yeah, I watch way too much behind the scenes stuff.
It's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Amen.
Anyway, I think we should give some closing thoughts and letter grade for the first episode of Black Lightning. Roman, you kicked us off earlier. Why don't you help take us home?
All right. Let's see. How do I want to gather my words here? I feel like this story is very well rooted in accurately portraying the lives of Black people in a dramatic sense. You never get the sense that the show is going to shy away from handling anything that has to do with race or with societal issues or just with interpersonal issues to sacrifice it being a superhero show. It doesn't have to dumb down or get heavy hand anything because it plays it so real. And I think that speaks to so many different aspects working so well together as we've touched on, between from the team that they got writing to the world building that they've done to the character work by the actors. It really helps you get an understanding of all those issues that happen in everyday life, all those characters that you can come in contact with in everyday life when you grow up in that sort of situation, all under the guise of a guy trying to just take care of his family and help his community, all while being a superhero. So it gets messy sometimes. It's going to. I love that. I love that it doesn't. That mess doesn't detract from going right back to the heart of the story, which are those relationships. So, it's a definite solid A+ for me.
Awesome. Leroy, what about you?
All right, you guys keep hearing everything about how socially conscious and socially relevant this show is. It's not because the reason we keep talking about it is because the show talks about it. And the reason we keep talking about it in such high esteem is because the show deals with it in such a great way. This is a great drama. This is a great piece of dramatic television. It does that well. It's a great comic book show. It's a great piece of comic book writing and storytelling. It nails that. This show for the first episode is probably, I'd have to say, and actually I have no problem saying this. This is my favorite CW pilot. This is my favorite CW comic book show pilot ever. The only one that I can think of that might come close is Arrow, and that's it. But this is a pilot. I think this is the best CW pilot I've ever seen for a comic book show. I love all of these characters. I want to see what happens to them, and it's great storytelling. It's great structure. It's good action. It's the special effects are there. This is just a well done piece of television, and how can I not give it an A+ when I say it's the best pilot I've ever seen on a CW show? So yeah, it's an A+, and I give those out when I say I can't think of a way that the show could have been better. And while I don't necessarily like the outfit, it's definitely nothing that that would detract from a plus. Because okay, fine, it was an A++. I didn't like the outfit all that much. It's just an A+.
Damn it.
Yeah, there you go.
This is why we don't get nice things.
All right. And then Jamie, what about you?
Piggybacking off of Leroy there, I mean, he kind of said it the way I was going to say it. There's really nothing I want to change about this show other than I want to speed up the amount of frequency in which it comes out, because I am all about it right now. I rewatched the pilot thinking, okay, maybe I was a little bit hyperbolic in what I said and thinking that this was already my favorite DC-centric television show. And rewatching that pilot, I felt exactly the same way I did the first time with the emotional beats and everything else. And I love everything about this show. I love everything how this show is doing. More TV shows should aspire to be as good as this one is. And I say that once in a while about a movie or something. And to me, that's the highest compliment I can pay something, is more things should aspire to want to be this good. For me, it's a Christmas Story A+.
Wow. Right. Yeah, I mean, I agreed all around. I had a great time with it. I immediately got invested and interested in these characters. They set up a lot of great story possibilities for the future between the different relationships, between just the nature of where he is in his superheroic career, what's happening externally in the community and with different things around him. I think that it's a great pilot in that it hooks you in. It immediately gets you interested in what's happening. It makes you want to see what's next, and it pays off in just on its premise of still being a superhero show, but in elevating it and being so much more. If I feel like I would have loved this episode even at the end if he didn't bust some heads, that's a hell of a compliment for this. So I love the cast. I think Cress Williams is a great lead as Black Lightning, so kudos to him, but kudos to everyone. We didn't really give a lot of love to his estranged wife. The actress is Christine Adams, and she was in Batman Begins.
She was?
Yeah, she was the receptionist at Wayne Enterprises when Bruce
Rucker
comes
Howard.
back. Yeah.
Yeah, she was Rucker Hauer's receptionist.
Yeah.
Huh.
So she was already part of the DC family.
Nice.
Yeah. That's what she was doing. She was working for Bruce Wayne. Oh my gosh, she was working. See, same universe.
That's why she's got experience with vigilantes, and she's not putting up with it anymore.
That's why it's grounded. We're in the Nolan universe, guys. That's why it's so grounded. Boom.
Oh, there you go.
I'll take it.
I liked the suit, but yeah, for me, I had a great time with it. I was really, really impressed. Huge kudos for doing something so unique with this show. It makes it that much more compelling. I loved it. Can't wait for more. For me, it's a big old A. So yeah, A's all around. We love Black Lightning. Can't wait for more. I can't wait for Anissa to suit up as Thunder. I love that they didn't wait to to reveal that she's got some more going on, because I thought she was awesome. And so I love that. I already knew that the daughters were a big part of the Black Lightning lore. I didn't know if they would hold back for a season or two, but they're not, and I love that.
Then next year they can bring in Static.
Perfect. Oh yeah, you know they're already planning it. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God, please, yes.
So anyway, we loved it. Check it out, watch it, enjoy it on the CW. Now let's wrap up as we always do and crack open the Wayne Manor mailbox.
Apparently, you and Batman have a common enemy. That was with the morning mail.
We've only got a couple, but I always feel very productive when I clean out the Wayne Manor mailbox. So first message here is from Paul Shanley. It says, "Hey, Andy, Jamie, and whoever." That's you guys, Leroy and Roman. You're whoever.
I've always wanted to be a whoever.
Yeah. It says, "The internet is essentially a bunch of nerds screaming at each other and ranking things." Man, ain't that the truth?
Don't forget that.
I rank this email number 1 right now.
Right. There are enough live-action Batman films to rank and discuss them. How about an episode? Anyway, he goes, my ranking would be, oh yeah, let's see what Paul's ranking is, just for shits and giggles. He says, number 10, Batman and Robin. Number 9, Batman the Movie from 1966. Number 8, Batman Forever. Number 7, Batman Returns. Number 6, The Dark Knight Rises. Number 5, Justice League. Number 4, Batman vs. Superman. Number 3, Batman Begins. Number 2, Batman 89. And number 1, The Dark Knight. It says spot 1 and 2 rotate daily. Thanks for all that you do, Paul. Paul, thank you for the message. Yeah, we could do an episode about this. Why the heck not? People love lists. And I like that whenever we do a ranking on our show, the beauty of that is then it becomes canon, it becomes official, and then everybody knows. Yeah, it's indisputable. Yeah, there's no argument at that point on. We already know, like, what the best whatever is. We settle that argument so that way nerds don't have to yell at each other on the internet.
Is that how it works over here?
That's how it works. Yeah, that's what we do.
They need to send you guys to the Middle East.
We'll work on that.
The last time Bat fans went over to the Middle East, somebody got beat to death with a crowbar and blowed up. It ain't right. You know
man, no, that was great.
Soon?
That actually that worked out well for everyone involved. Actually,
yes, it's been what year was in '84? Yes, it's too soon.
All right. Thank you for the message, Paul. Yeah, that would be fun, and it would be great to hear, people tear each other apart for that. Next message here is from Mark Jurasevic. It says, "Hey, Bat Raiders." Apparently, I'm a Bat Raider now too, Jamie.
You're officially indoctrinated into it.
Oh my God! Thank goodness.
Stop resisting. It's over.
I'm more of a Bat Bear because I'm from Chicago.
Yeah, that's true.
Just as long as you're not a Bat Patriot.
Yeah. Oh hell no!
Okay,
I know enough to know that.
On that one, we're good there.
Anyway, says, thanks as always for the excellent podcast and taking the time to answer listener questions. I was in my local retailer here in Australia checking out the Blu-ray releases and came across a Christopher Reeve Superman and Michael Keaton movie box set. Interestingly, Superman 2 was the Richard Donner cut and not the theatrical version. I found this unusual, even though I love that cut. What do you think is the reason for this? Also, while on topic, which is your preferred version? I love both for different reasons. The theatrical cut has some nice lighter moments that I enjoyed as a kid, but I also like the less comical Donner cut with the Jor-El scenes back in. Anyway, take it easy. Regards, Mark. Mark, thank you for the message. That's interesting that there is a Christopher Reeve Superman / Michael Keaton Batman box set. That's kind of fun.
Oh, he's in a different country, right?
Yeah, he's in Australia.
They got international, man.
They got all kind of crazy stuff.
I need a suit.
Anyway, what are our thoughts? What are our thoughts on the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2, gentlemen? Leroy, have you seen it?
I have seen it, and it is, what was it? It was the earthquakes, and then the second nuclear missile was what actually knocked them out of the Phantom Zone. I remember that. So yeah, no, I definitely think the 1 and 2 was the better way to go, me personally. And as far as the reason why you came across that where you did, I know that internationally there's just different distribution things, and there's Scarecrow Video up here in Seattle, and sometimes I'll order DVDs and Blu-rays from different regions just because they have different special features and stuff on them. So I don't know, sometimes regionally.
It's because they have the best hentai, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's it. If you go to different regions, sometimes they just have different special features and different advertisers, and so yeah, it was just probably some deal with some company.
Oh, see, for me, I hate the fact that Superman apologists use the Donner cut as he didn't really kill Jor-El, or he didn't really kill Zod, and them at the end. Listen, I'm not stupid. I know what the hell happened at the end of Superman 2. He crushed his hand after he depowered him, and he killed him. Period. And stop sitting here and tell me that he's thrown into some oblivious abyss, and they ended up back in Phantom because they cut that crap back in. I'm tired of it.
There's a prison. There's a prison underneath.
I'm tired of it. You knock it off right now.
There's a prison underneath the Fortress of Solitude, man.
Yeah. The North Pole Police. The North Pole Police showed up.
He killed them in cold blood.
I mean, that's only just that was only because it was the North Pole. I mean, that's not his fault.
No, in the deleted scenes, the North Pole Police show up and drag him to Santa's dungeon.
Legit.
Look at that.
Yeah, where they are beaten with candy canes daily. All right, Roman. I didn't know you felt so strongly.
I know, right?
He saw Man of Steel 27,000 times.
It's true.
How many times did you see it again? 27?
19.
Oh, and just in case you guys didn't know, all you holy BatCasters, we are all going to be watching Black Panther together in a month, yo.
Yeah.
Black Panther in a month, yo.
I hope he kills somebody, and then they make a Donner cut of that, and they actually show him killing people.
Oh my god!
I want to see the Coogler cut because I know he ain't playing. He's just gonna ice everybody.
Yeah.
All the flavors in the world, man. Why you got to pick salty?
I'm just so tired of it. It's literally the bane of my existence when it comes to people talking about Superman. He has killed before. He will kill again. He cannot be stopped.
I killed before.
Sounds like a Halloween movie promo.
It's amazing. I love it. That's the Man of Steel sequel that everyone's been asking for.
Killed before.
He's back and he's pissed.
Killed before.
This time it's personal.
Yep. Jamie, do you have any thoughts on the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2?
You know, I honestly think the Donner cut is the better, quote unquote, better movie. But I grew up watching the theatrical cut of Superman. I actually saw Superman 2 in the theaters. So it's like Blade Runner for me. I know a lot of people hate the Blade Runner theatrical cut because of the monotone monologue that goes over it and whatnot. But that's what I grew up watching. So to me, that was Blade Runner for so many years that I can't get it out of my head that that's still Blade Runner, even though I know sequential cuts of the movie were better. And it's the same thing to me with the Superman 2.
All right, cool. Yeah, I love what they went for with the Donner cut of Superman 2, and honestly, I think it was included in that box set is because it now seems to be fans' preferred version. But for me, because the movie wasn't finished, there are parts of the Donner cut that don't hold up, and they stand out like a sore thumb. Like there's one really long extended scene that was apparently rehearsal footage, and it just doesn't work as part of the movie, but that's all they had, which I give them credit for using what they had, but it makes it harder to watch it as a movie. So I still prefer the theatrical, even though yes, there's a lot of silliness there, but at least it all still feels like a movie. Whereas the Donner cut, there are scenes that don't quite fit and they stick out like sore thumbs, and I have a hard time suspending my disbelief during those. So I wish Donner had been able to finish his version, and I'm glad we got to kind of see what it would have been, sort of a little bit. But But yeah, I still kind of prefer the completed theatrical, which is probably the wrong answer, and I'm gonna get strung up in effigy. All right, one last one here. It's from our pal Philip Barker. It says, "Hey Andy and Jamie, question for you guys: who would you like to see Batman crossover with in a live-action film? And I don't mean Superman, Wonder Woman, or Aquaman." After the episode regarding Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brave and the Bold, I got to wondering, who would be the coolest person Batman could meet in a movie? If the idea ever truly came to fruition without any studio going into character rights battles, who could Batman team up with in a movie and be a box office smash? Personally, I think Godzilla, the Alien/Xenomorphs, or even Sherlock Holmes would be a fun ride. What say you, Bat Brothers? Keep up the great work. Can't wait to hear how you respond. Much love from your Bat Brother, Philip Barker. Philip, thank you for the message, and as always, for being so supportive. So it sounds like he wants non-DC character answers here. He wants to know who we would want Batman to team up with that he can't already team up with. So like using Scooby-Doo as the example, and his other ones, Godzilla, the Alien, or Sherlock Holmes. Man, that's a tough question. What say you? Roman, do you have any thoughts on who Batman should team up with?
James Bond.
Oh, James Bond. Good. All right. I can dig that. That was easy. What about you, Jamie?
Well, Godzilla's a great choice. I'd love to see that. RoboCop in the back of my mind.
5 minutes.
Wait, what's going on?
Huh? What?
Would Godzilla be in that movie for 5 minutes, and it would be 95 minutes of Batman? How does that?
I'm gonna act like I didn't hear any of that. RoboCop would be an intriguing choice for me, and probably, I mean, I'd probably get a lot of people, reach for your heart medication. Captain America.
I wouldn't be mad at it. Leroy, what about you?
I you know what?
Say Black Panther. We know you're going to say Black Panther. Just
No,
say Black Panther.
I was going to say Black Panther. I changed my mind. Ben Affleck.
I didn't say Black Panther just so you could say Black Panther. Say Black Panther, damn it.
No, I was actually going to say Blade, but thank you. No, I think that Black Panther, one's a billionaire, one's a king. I mean, there's really not a comparison there. But Blade.
Oh.
Just the subtle shots that are fired.
Oh my God! Oh man,
I'm reaching for my computer right now so I can send you that meme again.
That was God. Where's Jeff with my meme? I need my meme. Anyway, no, seriously, I think it would be kind of cool, like to see Batman team up with Blade. I think that would be kind of. No, you know what? Scratch all that. John Wick, Batman and John Wick. That would be awesome. Just like Batman, first of all, they end up fighting each other, and then they end up teaming up. That's how John Wick 3 is going to open up. John Wick's running from all the assassins. Freaking Batman shows up. Boom. Done.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch the hell out of that.
Oh, so this is tough. It's tough. Okay, my first answer, which is probably my favorite answer, I realized, he kind of already has, but my answer was going to be Batman and Dracula.
Yeah.
But then I realized he fought Dracula in animation. But this is live action. It's different. It's a different thing.
He's encountered Dracula a couple of times in the
comics. and in the comics. But I was like that would be rad.
Action movie.
I'd be all for that. And then the other answer that everyone could get on board with is he would team up with Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park and the T-Rex.
Oh, nice. Oh, you know what would be really cool? I can't believe we didn't say this. Batman and Sherlock Holmes.
Philip said that in his email.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I mean like Cumberbatch.
Oh, yeah.
Like Cumberbatches.
No.
Well, then it's completely different.
You said Cumberbatch. You lost me. It's over.
Oh man, he's a great Sherlock Holmes, man. He's like one of my.
Cumberbatch is awesome. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever.
I don't think a lot. I think I think him and hanging out with Ben Affleck. Yeah, that's what I really want in the next Batman. I want a freaking detective movie. That's what I want.
What about Detective Chimp?
Yeah.
How about Batman and Doc Brown on a time-traveling adventure?
Great Scott.
Batman and Wolverine. I mean, we've always...
Now I'm really just picking my favorite movies. Batman and E.T., Batman and Jaws, Batman and Gandalf. Why not?
Batman and Tommy from Goodfellas. I'd watch that.
Yeah. Batman and Santa Claus.
Batman and Spawn. Well, Batman and Spawn already did the comic, so never mind.
Yeah. All right, there you go.
Batman and the
There's
Guardians
lots of answers.
No.
Oh, just so we can watch Jamie's head pop.
I know, right?
Anyway,
I'm Groot.
there's a lot of good answers for you, Philip. Anyway, if you guys have questions for the Wayne Manor mailbox, you can send those to holybatcast@rf4rm.com. That is where we're going to wrap up this episode of the show. A huge thank you to everybody who has written into the show, and a huge thank you to everybody who has written an iTunes review for the show. We've gotten one new one since Christmas, so we're up to 230 reviews. Well done, everybody. Thank you guys for doing that. And this one here came in a few days ago. It is by E.E. Refner. It says, hand me that Bat Excellence spray. It says, I'm only giving it 5 stars because there isn't a higher option. A great and fun show that is sure to be one of the highlights of any Bat fan's week. Simply awesome. Well, thank you, E.E. Refner. You're simply awesome, and we appreciate you checking out the show. So for those of you out there, if you haven't done it already, please leave a review on iTunes. We'll read it here. You'll get to hear your words in my voice, and it'll be wonderful. So please do that. Thank you to everybody who has done that. But that will do it for this episode of the show. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us to talk about Black Lightning for almost 2 damn hours. Roman, where can folks keep up with you if they would like to?
Let's see. I'm on Instagram often. It used to be flooded with pictures of food. Now it is flooded with pictures of my baby.
As you do.
Yeah, as it should be. Because I mean, listen.
Yeah.
There are very few things I've done right in this world. Making that kid is definitely the number one.
Aww,
that's
so sweet.
You know, Leroy and I are going to abscond with that baby.
Yeah, I mean, that's fun. I'm just
We're kidnapping that child.
She takes the bottle now, which was, I mean, that was a point in which my wife and I both cried because that kid hated every bottle we bought for her. But
Leroy and I are going to be up on top of the Sears Tower doing the Rafiki with Simba.
So I am on Instagram at Roman with the homies. And when you do it, you have to do the thing like share from Clueless. So you have to do like Roman with the homies. That's how you'll always remember it. I am on Twitter at Roman's Empire 79. And I'm on Facebook. I'm in the group. You'll find me. I'm there. RFR.
Say something about Man of Steel. He'll come running, I assure you.
No, I'm over that now. I clearly have focused my efforts solely on the Donner Cut.
He's a goddamn liar.
Yeah, tweet Roman about how in the Donner Cut, you know, Superman does not kill Zod and Ursa and
they
Nan.
call him into prison. There's like a little chute, and then he like slipped into a prison.
Right. Leroy, what about you? Where can folks keep up with you?
You know, I need to be better on social media, but until then, go ahead and check out Taking the Bullet, and you guys can send me some DMs there. I finally figured out that people are sending us DMs, and I answer them back now. So that was awesome. I was like, oh,
this is why you don't have a mailbox, okay? You would just ignore it.
I really think I don't like them. Anyway, yes, please come out and check out Taking the Bullet, man. It's a lot of fun. The next episode is bright as soon as I'm done editing it, which was I'm pleasantly surprised to find out that like the hate in my heart has subsided a little bit. But you know, Jamie and Roman are there to make sure that it's not fully extinguished. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, keep that little fire alive.
I know, man.
Jamie, I think they know, but just in case, where can people find you?
You can find me personally on the tweets at BatRaider3960 and also at Rewind RF4RM on the new Please Rewind show. We have our own Twitter running up there too, so check out that. First episode is out there now.
All right. Thank you, sir. And thank you, everybody out there, for downloading the show. Again, please do subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. Please leave us a review on iTunes. And most importantly, as Michael Keaton's Batman said, I want you to tell all your friends about me. Follow us all over social media on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, Holy BatCast. Thank you for that. And that'll do it. So thanks for checking us out. We will see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Holy BatCast is brought to you by real fans for real movies. Remember, the thoughts and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone, and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for.
It's been 9 years since I've used my powers. And this city is getting more and more dangerous every moment.
Your powers were given to you for a reason.
I can't save the world, Gabby.
But you can save your piece of it.